The Worst Day to Get My Heart Broken Part 1. It was like a sucker punch when I saw my boyfriend kissing my girl best friend. There had been no warning signs, no longing glances, or maybe I had just been too blind. I was just glad that for once I had a boyfriend who got along well with my best friend. When they had both suggested a weekend of hiking in the woods, I was ecstatic. I love nature and spending time with my loved ones, so I agreed immediately. They had already booked us 2 rooms at a lodge close to the woods since the weather was unpredictable. The last time Gillian and I went camping together, it had rained and we had to cut our trip short. But this time, we were going to stay at a nearby lodge. We planned to hike, explore the place, and have fun. I was so excited. The night before, Max had told me that he loved me, as he always did. He apologized for working so late all the time and said he would make it up to me. His words of reassurance were all that I needed at that point because I missed spending time with him. But when his job took him out of town several times, there was nothing I could do. On the first day, we arrived and began unpacking our things. We planned to have lunch together and then we would go for a little walk. But when we were walking, I got a call from my mother. "Hey guys, I will catch you in a bit. My mother is calling me." "Sure, Jean," Gillian said. I started walking back to where there was better reception. My father had a health complication a few days before, and since I could not go, with them being in a completely different country, I stayed updated through phone calls. I talked to my mom for a bit, moving a bit further because the network was acting up a bit. I was pleased to find out that he was feeling much better and had been discharged. I told Mom to make sure that he took it easy and hung up the call. I started to trace my footsteps back to where I had left the both of them. The area was not dense and there was a clear path, so it did not take me long to get back to where I had left them. But the problem was that they were nowhere to be found. I heard laughter in the direction of the trees, so I made my way there. Maybe they had decided to explore the area? But why the hell could I hear gasping and moaning as I was approaching? Maybe it was not them after all. I started to turn back when I heard a female voice say, "Okay, we have to go back now. He should be back soon." My feet carried me back to where the voices were, and there I saw my boyfriend and my best friend kissing. They were so caught up in each other that they did not see me. I pulled my boyfriend back from her and she screamed. She started explaining, or trying to, but I could barely hear anything. All I saw was red. 2 people that I loved the most in the world had just done the worst thing possible. "Babe, I can explain," he pleaded. "Oh really? I would love to see how you can explain why you were shoving your tongue down my best friend's throat. How long has this been going on?" I screamed. "Jean, it means nothing. I swear. We were going to end it. We did not want to hurt you," she pleaded with me. "How long have you been hooking up behind my back?" I gritted my teeth. I felt my whole body shaking with uncontrollable anger. "A few months," he looked down. "We have been dating for nearly a year. You're going to have to be more specific than that," I hissed. "About 6 months," he said. Fucking hell. Wow, I cannot even look at the both of you right now. I laughed bitterly. I turned around and left them standing there. They called after me, but that only made me start walking faster. I had no idea where I was going. I just walked into the trees. The tears clouded my vision and I stumbled several times, but I did not stop walking. I had known that he was bisexual when we started dating, but that had not been an issue for me. All I cared about was how he treated me well. They had gotten along well, which was a good thing because Gillian was overprotective of me. I merely thought they had an innocent friendship. I questioned whether he had ever loved me in the beginning, or if it had just been a cruel game. Why had he not just been honest with me when he started doing who knows what with her? Even though I was heartbroken over his cheating, it did not compare to the betrayal of my best friend of 10 years. We had been through all life's trials and tribulations, and not once had she broken my trust. It had been her who supported me when I finally decided to come out. I had comforted her through every breakup and congratulated her on every victory, but all that had been destroyed in a matter of seconds. I got tired and rested under a tree for a while. I noticed that it was getting dark and I had no idea where I was. The only thing that I had was my phone and my rucksack, which had water and a few sandwiches. I checked my phone and I saw that it did not have any network and the battery was at 20%. It was then that I realized that I was screwed. I told myself not to panic and thought of a plan to get back to the lodge. I decided to spend the night under the tree and find my way the next morning. No one would find me there anyways. I ate a little food that I had and tried to fall asleep. But it was so cold and I could not stop seeing the image of them in each other's arms. In the past, I had bad days, but that day took the cake. Then to make matters worse, a drop of water hit me on the forehead. As I looked up, it started raining. I could not help laughing at the situation that I found myself in. There was nothing that I could do besides sit there and hope that it would stop raining soon. But the weather only worsened and soon I was soaked to the bone. I started shivering uncontrollably then after a while. I didn't understand what I was even doing under the tree. I could not even put together any straight thoughts. My feet started getting cold and I felt very sleepy. But there was nothing I could do besides wrap my arms around my legs and close my eyes. Then I lost consciousness. I had a very lucid dream of someone shining a torch in my eyes, a man carrying me through the woods, and snippets of a conversation. "We have to get him out of here right now," a woman said. "Have you checked that he is still breathing?" A man replied, "I think he has hypothermia. His heart rate is so low." I faded in and out of whatever I was experiencing until all I saw was black. The next time I opened my eyes, the piercing pain in my head forced me to close them immediately. My throat felt it was on fire, and don't even get me started on my body. After a few minutes, I tried opening my eyes again, and this time, the bright light did not hurt too much. I tried to speak, but all that came out was a groan. "You're finally awake," a voice said. I tried to sit up, but I was pushed down. "Do not exert yourself too much. You're still weak. I was not sure that you would pull through." "Alex, please come. He has woken up," he shouted. That sent pain shooting through me. Had I fallen off a cliff or something? I did not remember much of what had happened after it started raining. I tried to piece together what had happened for me to end up there. My best friend and my boyfriend. Me leaving. Finding out that I was lost. The weather turning bad. And then it was all black. Then there was the dream about the man who was carrying me. "Okay, this is good. Leave me with him for a bit. Go and make him some soup. He needs something warm in him." A soft female voice. I looked up and I saw a dark-haired woman looking down on me. "Hi, I'm glad you're okay. I'm Alex and that was Gerard. We found you in the woods 2 days ago. We are going to get something in you right now. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?" "Sure." My voice came out weak and breathy. "Can you see how many fingers I'm holding up?" "4? Does your head hurt?" "It is getting better." "Okay, let me feel your heart." "A bit slow but not as weak as before," she said. Just then, the man I assumed was Gerard came into the room. I had not seen him properly in the beginning, but now that I was propped up, I saw him for the first time. My first thought was that he had kind eyes. "Okay, have a little something to eat. You need all your strength." He smiled as he sat down on a chair beside the bed. He scooped some soup up and brought it to my mouth, but I did not eat it. "You do not have to. I can feed myself," I insisted. "Trust me, you will find that your hands are not as strong as you think. Come on, open up." He smiled kindly. I had no choice but to listen to him and eat the soup. The soup was very tasty and it warmed me up immediately. I finished it in no time and thanked him. "That's good. You should get some rest now," he said. "But I don't want to sleep," I protested as I tried to get off the bed. I wanted to get back to the lodge, get my stuff and go home. I would deal with my health later on. But I suddenly felt so sleepy and I fell back onto the bed, into a dreamless slumber. The next time I woke up, Gerard was sitting beside me. As soon as I woke up, he propped me up and shouted for Alex. She came in with a cup of steaming tea, which Gerard helped me to drink. I was still feeling weak, but the headache had completely gone away. When he was done helping me, I decided to ask a few questions. "How did you find me? Why were you out on a romantic stroll during that weather?" I asked. Alex laughed. "It was hardly a romantic stroll. My colleague and I were just inspecting the area when it started to rain terribly. We had left some of our things close to where you were when we found you. You were in a very bad state, but luckily you were still alive," she said. "Thank you so much. You saved my life," I said. "We did what anyone else would. Why were you there?" Gerard asked. I thought of the betrayal of those I loved and tried so hard to keep the tears at bay. I got lost, I said. You should avoid walking alone in these woods. They can be quite treacherous. We found your phone on you, but it was dead. What is your name? She asked. Jean, I do not want to sound ungrateful, but when can I leave? I asked. Not anytime soon. You have a terrible fever. The whole time you were sleeping, your body was heating up, and you got worse as the hours passed, Sam said. And the storm got worse. We would be fools to try venture into the woods now. We will have to wait until the weather gets better, and even then, I need to make sure that you are 100% okay, Alex added. Are you a nurse? I asked. Nope, just trained in first aid. Anyways, I have to go now. I managed to get a hold of my husband on the other side, she said. At the lodge? I asked. Yes. You were staying there, right? She asked. Yes. Can you ask if the people I came with are still there? I asked. I did not know why I even wanted to know if they were worried about me. They did not matter. They betrayed me and they deserved each other. Sure. Bye. She left the room, leaving Gerard and I. He could not stop fussing over me. He kept asking me if I was hungry, comfortable, or needed something. Please stop worrying about me, Gerard. I am feeling fine. I'm sure that you have other things to do besides taking care of me. I sighed after a while of him fussing over me. I'm sorry, I just can't get over the fact that you do not seem to be okay, he said. I am not any worse than I was an hour ago. It's my heart that's not okay. Something about his gentle eyes made me confess. Girlfriend? Best friend and boyfriend. Damn, that is harsh. My last boyfriend cheated on me too. It hurt like hell. I don't get why people are not honest in relationships. I would have preferred to know if there was something lacking between us. People are complicated, my friend. I'm sorry that happened to you. You deserved so much better. He squeezed my hand when he did that. My heart did hurt a little less. Thank you for everything. I smiled. No need to thank me. I love helping other people, he said. Then he proceeded to ask me if I needed an extra pillow again. It was so amusing that he cared so much about me when he did not even know me. He seemed to be so pure. I had no idea when the last time I met someone like him was. Would you like me to run you a bath? Luckily, we have a very strong generator. You need to keep warm, he said. Thank you, that would be very nice. He went off to boil the water for me and came to fetch me when it was ready. I got my first look around the building we were in. It was identical to the lodge, but smaller and less luxurious. There were maps, surveillance equipment, and a lot of papers. He led me to the bathroom where my water was waiting for me. I had a nice warm bath when I was done. I felt like I was myself once again. I found some clothes laid out for me when I got out of the bath. Then I got dressed. I could not find Gerard, so I started walking around until I heard voices coming from the living room. The weather is getting better, but it is still not safe to go anywhere. There was some snow and the road directly to the lodge has been closed. I'm thinking that we will be here for several more days, Alex said. Did you find out if Gillian and Max are still there? I asked. Unfortunately, they left days ago, she said. Of course, those selfish people had left me here. What could I expect from two snakes? Thank you, I managed to force out. I'm sorry, Jean. Gerard looked me in the eyes. I felt so much better when I met his warm gaze. There was something so comforting about him that I could not wrap my head around. It's fine, I sighed. They invited me to sit with them in front of the fireplace and I obliged. I was so tired of lying in the same bed for days. We talked about random things to pass the time until Alex retired to her room. I stayed with Gerard for a few more minutes. I really enjoyed his company, but I could not help feeling excited whenever his body brushed mine. Whenever we looked into each other's eyes, which was often, my heart started beating faster. I quickly became tired though, and I had to go to bed against my will. I guess I should also get some rest. Let me go and fetch my blankets from the closet, he yawned. Wait, I have your room, right? Are you sleeping on the couch? I cannot let you sleep there. Let me take the couch instead, I said. Not in your condition, he laughed. Okay, the bed is big enough for the both of us, and you can fuss over me all night if you want, I teased. I do not fuss, he pretended to be upset. We came to an agreement that we would share the bed in the end. I fell asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. Strong arms wrapped around me, making me feel secure. I had peaceful dreams for the first time in a few days. I was so sure that it had to do with how safe I felt in his arms. The next morning, I opened my eyes to see him staring at me in shock. "What's wrong? Did I do something?" I asked. He bit his lip. I raised an eyebrow. "You were talking in your sleep and kissing me on the face," he said. I could not see my face, but I felt myself turning a very dark shade of red. To be continued. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force, and stay wholesome.